Okay,
while
good
you're doing that. It's being recorded. All right. This is important.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying out Zoom, and because it seems easier than GoToMeeting, and you have this option of recording it. So I've been running it, and then if it comes up that people want a copy or something, I can send it to you. So otherwise I'll just toss it. So let me know.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm glad,
great. Well,
glad you reached out.
Okay, so this happened quite by accident. I just accidentally, when I was logging into my dashboard on my site, I went to your homepage, and which was totally, you've changed it a whole lot. And I started clicking on things, and I ended up in this place where I could set up a meeting. And I thought, God, how cool to get to talk to Ryan. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I spoke with you very briefly in San Francisco about 4 years ago when you and, well, I went there 2 years in a row when you guys were, well, he was speaking, Jim was speaking at a thing for PNC Mortgage.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and I really, really do continue to enjoy those webinars. I catch every one of them. Regrettably, I've not been really instituting things from them, but that's another story. Anyway, I've got some specific questions for you.
All right, fire away.
About my virtual results website. It's I don't know if you've looked at it, know what I got, but it's one of your responsive sites. And number one, when I go to that site in my laptop, my little 13-inch MacBook Pro, all you see is that splash screen at the very, very beginning. And and I have a concern about conversion. Okay. About people coming there and then just going away. I'd like to try to do something that gets that higher. And I just wonder, can I change the vertical dimension of that splash screen so it doesn't take up so much real estate?
Actually you can. Let me try to share my screen. And very few people request such a feature because it's kind of just your normal sort of thing. But I do think I have at least one example on my mind here. Someone who said, I want to, I want it smaller, and he wanted just so you could see the listings, like something like that, It could even be small.
Yeah, so it gets started. Now, when, you got some video running there, does that affect load time?
It does. It does. So you got to be careful, but it's streaming video, so it's not as bad as it was, years ago, where the whole thing kind of had to load. So it just sends a little bit. So it's not terrible.
Okay. So, and this guy is changing stuff like crazy. Do you advocate that?
It really, it's hard to say off the bat because it just depends. The thing has to suit whatever you're after, and usually people, I do advocate making it work for you. Like, in other words, if you're not trying to get leads, you're mostly sending your current leads here, you know what I mean? De-emphasize the forced registration. So make it your own, absolutely. You don't need to, to answer to anyone else's expectations. But, to be honest, I don't even know why he does this, because I guess, there are, we always do encounter some people that say, oh, I didn't know that you could scroll down. Like, I thought that was the whole site. And
yeah, well, that's my concern. Yeah,
I don't really, if they couldn't figure that out, I'm skeptical that there's anything you can do for them at that point. Like, there's just some people not going to work for, but some people do this, or they do a little, like, the little arrow, or even a mouse animation that kind of indicates to the user, hey, you can scroll down here if they're worried about it. Personally, I think I'd be a little concerned this looks broken, personally. But, obviously he's getting feedback from his clients. Maybe it's an age group, maybe it's where they live. I don't know, but it works for him.
Yeah, who knows? Okay. Well, I don't think I'll do that, but I will go for a narrower deal. So I'll reach out to, oh God, what's his name?
Jacob.
It's not Justin. Jacob, yeah. I'll reach out to Jacob about how to do that. He's terrific, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
And so, yeah, what do I want out of this website? Well, I want, I mean, I do a pretty good job of, I mean, my organic reach is pretty good, but I want prospects. This is not something to to soothe the needs of my current clients. I'm looking for fresh meat here. So
Okay.
as we talk about this, just keep that in mind. So the image. One thing I was thinking about was, and a blogger I was listening to a while back was talking about being able to search on a blog, to actually have a search block. So if somebody wanted to go to my blog, and I mean, it's just the series of posts, right? I have this one blog,
Hmm.
series of posts. Is there a way that they can actually search for content in the blog?
Yeah, well, let's take a look at it together. I should still be sharing my screen.
Yeah, you are. You are. Yeah.
So right now I'm on the blog, and
Yep.
no, I don't see a search option at all, and I think that's probably accurate. So let's jump in here and see what kind of options we have. We probably have something like, we probably have some options that you're not utilizing, such as see related posts or see categories and click on them, and you can kind of navigate around. But if that's something that you value, there is we can add that as an element. I believe Google still allows you to use their own technology, and you can embed a little search. And so a common place for something like that might be, probably right here, probably add a titled blog, and then maybe image or something, and then maybe a search thing that says search the blog or something like that. So it's clear you're not searching for real estate, you're searching for content. That is something that we could put on your site, and I don't think that it would be any sort of fees or anything like that.
Okay,
So
fabulous.
yeah, so I think what you'd want to request is just say, hey Jacob, I talked to Ryan, and I want people to be able to search my blog. And
Yeah, and I don't know if I mean, I'm just thinking about being more aggressive with my blog and
sure,
referring it to it in Facebook posts and stuff, and see if we can
I
get
mean
some
it
more
makes
people there.
sense. If I mean, the thing is that right away I'm kind of basically skeptical about the effort and stuff, but it's not going to cost you anything. And let's say you come back 6 months later and we figure out a way so that you can tell if people used it, and you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to guess. We could just do it, and then we can determine if it was valuable. And best case scenario, of course, they did use it, and the terms that they search for, that's something that you can do more content on, or you can run ads for, or something like that. So there could
Right.
potentially
Cool.
be a feedback loop that's positive there.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Terrific. So, I mean, is there any way to you mentioned to do analytics on that to see what the people actually do,
Yeah.
if they do anything?
Yeah. So let's go over to Google Analytics, and so there's actually, and I'm just wavering a little bit because I know that Google used to offer this service, and then I was told that I read something about them restricting it. So if they don't do it, though, it doesn't matter. We can just get the technology from someone else. Doesn't matter. But let's see. I just want to pick. Who can I pick that won't mind? Let's see. This is kind of a nonsense domain right here, I think.
Okay.
And I actually think I've actually never used it, which shame on me. But see this down here, site search. That must be what it's for, right? So I mean, obviously it's what it's for. But just putting search on your site isn't going to make this work. It's not going to know.
Yeah.
It's not, so I think that what you're going to want to do is make sure that you go into you go into your analytics and you probably add me, Ryan, at virtualresults.net, and support at virtualresults.net. And then after you do that, you can say, hey, Jacob, I added you to the analytics account. When you set this thing up, can you make sure the programmers make sure that my analytics is speaking to this and it knows, And so obviously I don't have any search here, but what you do see, it's designed so that you see stuff like usage and the terms and so on and so forth. So
yeah. So if there was actually a search, okay, great.
The way
okay, well, with that,
that,
I'm happy that you're recording this, and so if you could
totally,
send it to me when it's all over, that'd be great.
So I just clicked on this thing right here, Chuck, this gear, and
right, the gear.
When you do that, that's how you can add some users, and that's how you add them, and that way you don't have to send us your passwords, or if you want to, you can just send us your passwords and we'll add ourselves. So whatever's easier for you.
Okay, so just go into my Google Analytics account and get the gear, add some users, and I could add you and Jacob and see what happens.
Yep, and that way, that's the only way that we'll know if it's actually, working.
Okay. Let's see. I sent you I have a little chat bot on their thing, and it
cool.
it has been well, I remember you and Jim talking about it, and I did that, and it was like the Facebook Messenger chat, I think. And when it first popped up, it seemed like it was too familiar with Facebook, and I thought, is that going to be off-putting to people?
Yeah.
So I just got a third-party one.
Which did you is it like a free tool or is it a paid tool?
It's somebody that I know. She set it up for me. It's cost me a couple $100 a year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's great. And has it been successful?
No. That's why the question. I mean, I've got, the only thing I got is 2 or 3 inquiries wanting to know if I wanted to, get my artificial limb replaced or something. I mean, it was just trying to sell me something.
Okay, so 21 people started. Does this mean they started a chat but they didn't give their information? Is that how that works?
Right, apparently, yeah.
10 leads. I mean, honestly, see, these are views. These are not people.
Right.
So it's probably a fraction of that, like 800 people, 10 leads. Kathleen is someone you know?
Yeah, Kathleen's a friend of mine who has the same service.
Okay, so let's take a look at what happens now. Is this something that you're staffing yourself, the chat, or does someone chat for you?
No, it's a robot. It's somebody is doing it. It's just it's a defined script.
Okay.
So there's not a real person.
Yeah. Okay, so bail on this. Bail on the Chuck is unavailable part. And you'll see better conversions right away. Now, to start, may I ask if you're looking to buy a new home, sell the one you have, or do you have any other questions? Is probably going to work pretty decently. If you get it a little bit weirder or a little bit less scripty, I think you'll probably end up seeing more responses. Although, I can't say whether or not that's going to result in good leads or not. But you could always
I don't know.
Just say people if they see I mean, I like how it says a person's picture and a name and stuff, and then you might say something like I just brainstorm. It's nothing genius, but you just start with something simple, very direct. Go as direct as you can. What's your biggest question today? Why are you on the site? What brings you to the site today? Just whatever it is where it's like someone could like someone, do I want to buy a new home, sell the one? It's like, somebody wants my story. But if I could just say, looking for contact information, you know, like something else that just rolls off the tongue.
Right. Okay.
Feel like it's that commitment. At least I can kind of get it churning. And
Okay, but get rid of that. Chuck, is that available?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah, and then this could work good. You might delay it a little bit, but no, I think this is probably decent. And then does this show up in your analytics? Do you know? Does this show up in your Google Analytics?
Oh, I don't have any idea.
Okay. I don't know if you. It sounds like it has its own little internal analytics that you're looking at.
I think so.
So
Yeah.
that's probably, you know, sufficient. Now, when someone says they're getting conversions off a tool like this, you know, it really is apples to oranges unless you're getting traffic from the same sources. Like if they're running ads for new construction and this chat's about new construction, it's going to be a totally different ballgame than you running this cold with organic stuff, you know, stuff like that. So keep that in mind. And the 2% conversion. Now, she may be using the same stats you are for the conversion, but she also may be using users to conversions, not visitors. Visitors, remember, it's the same user, so they can't really be expected
right
over and over.
Yeah.
So when you're comparing, you know, make sure those are apples to apples too, because 0.2% can go to 2% really easily, depending on the math that you're using.
Okay, fair enough. And then let's see. To date, all the blog posts I have in there are just with a static picture. What about putting video within a blog?
You know, it's great, but more often than not, you just can't devote that much time to a blog post. And if a video is available, yeah, great. But more often than not, it seems like, you know, with regards to video, unless someone has like a habit of, you know, maybe going on Brokers Open, grabbing some video, throwing it up to something that's streamlined to your workflow, that's a great idea. You know, is it going to move the needle giantly? I really doubt it. Remember, and so that's why I really say, like, usually people will, if people are thinking about doing some video, I usually, you know, say, okay, well, do you have the bases covered? Like, what are your five top neighborhoods and communities and cities? That would be, each of those would be a page on your site, probably not a blog post, because, you know, page is more, it doesn't matter if it's a page or a post, but usually it fits into the site as a page a little bit better because it's more of a static resource. And I would recommend starting there with a video. It doesn't matter how good or how bad, but that makes more sense to me, because 3 years from now, that neighborhood's still going to be important to you, and you know, you have a better chance of ranking for that as opposed to, you know, maybe a blog post or something like that.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Let's see, video and blogs. Okay, well, just out of curiosity, I'm absolutely amazed that you're giving this much time to one person. Do you do much of this, Ryan?
I don't. You'd be surprised. People don't request it, and I'm delighted to talk to you. You know, we just love our customers. We're so grateful for you guys, and I really want you to be successful. So you know, glad to devote the time.
Well, thank you very much. I have one last question. I'll let you go, because I'm going to sign up for another one of these some days. I mean, someday, you know that, right? If
Another
I can
one
get it done. Another conversation with you.
Oh, sure. Feel free.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, lastly, I've got like, I think 14 maybe evergreen posts on there. And this is something that, oh God, I can't think of his name, used to be with you as a director of sales.
Yeah. Yeah, guy named
anyway.
CJ. Yeah.
Yeah, CJ. Yeah, CJ Hayes. Yeah, and he was really, you know, big on this this evergreen content. And that's just on there and it's running. You know, what do you think of that these days? Does it have value, or is it just a waste of time?
Well,
And this
I
is
think it,
this is for listings. This is listings in an area, the top 10 most luxurious
yeah,
houses in kind of
good for
thing.
you. I actually invented that. I came up with that idea because,
Oh, you did?
yeah,
Cool.
unlike a lot of people, unlike everyone else in real estate technology sales, I actually worked and supported my family as a realtor. And I didn't have any family and friends that could buy for me. And so I had to prospect. And so anyway, that's how I first got into this and got interested in this, and eventually got more interested in this kind of stuff than in the real estate. So I had this thing, it's really silly that I need to keep doing these posts. And, I was always looking for some way to leverage it, right? And so
Right.
I think that, and at the time it was like, whoa, we wrote that plugin, and I thought, oh, this is so, it's like looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so simple, but I'm delighted to hear that you're using it. And, I can't think of any downside. What you want to, what you want to understand is its benefits and limitations. And,
Hmm.
it's not going to move the needle in terms of rank. The idea obviously is, I've got an evergreen post that updates dynamically. How can I bring it basically to the top of my blog is all it does, and
Right.
maybe,
Yeah.
and so it's as long as you understand, no, it's not gonna make me, rank, the top of Google, but it's to bring, basically bring these items to the top of the blog post. And I even envision doing it every year with the 4th of July.
Yeah. The
Uh,
holidays. Yeah.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
your
He
calendar
talked
of
about that.
events, your post. It's the same every year, you know what I mean? And so, cycle it through. But so yeah, I don't really see any downside to it. I think the negative would be you if it was super obvious that every time someone went to your post, it was like just ridiculously cycling the same post through all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like it's not like we have followings that like exactly keep up with our real estate sites,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
No kidding.
and
Yeah.
the thing about it is that it does destroy the evidence that you've done it before by getting. It's not like they can scroll down and they're gonna. Unlike when you actually do it manually, you can actually see all the blog posts and you're like, oh, that's the guy's shtick. It does get rid of it. So,
Also, you can see the duplicates.
yeah, yeah. But
Aha.
you do
Uh-huh.
it manually.
Oh, that brings. Okay.
I
That
think
I
I
had
think its
one more
primary
question. I just
benefit is it
remembered.
changes the date of the post. I think it's literally all it does is change the date of the post.
Yeah.
It brings it up.
Well, and the content is different because this
Right,
is a
right. But
dynamic links
that
to
would update.
listings.
That would update even if it was down on the post. The content's going to update dynamically. So all
Ah.
this does is going to
Okay.
bring it.
Okay. Very good. But that reminded me of oh God, now I just forgot it. Um, the blog updating. No, I lost it. Well, I really appreciate you guys. I
Maybe evergreen.
thoroughly
Were you
enjoy
thinking
listening to your.
about the? You might have been thinking about the posts that we send out to your site twice a week.
Oh no, that's it. That's it. That's it. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Duplicate content, just repost those. It's like problematic. So I remember CJ talking about it and saying, you gotta change a certain percentage of this for Google not to negatively affect you. Do you have a sense of really how much changing needs to be done?
Yeah, well, that's a common question. Basically, it's important to know that those posts come with a little bit of code in the background, and if you click HTML instead of the visual editor, you can see the code, and it says to Google, "Hey Google, this is syndicated content. Ignore it." Okay, so if you don't do anything, it actually ignores the post. And it's important that this stuff is not designed to help you rank. It won't help you rank. It's designed to give you content so that your site always looks fresh, and people report that they need content. They need content for newsletters, for emails to clients, all kinds of posting. Let's say you get in the habit of posting these to Facebook. People come back to your site, they read it. It doesn't matter that it's not indexed in Google. There's lots of reasons to have content that doesn't index in Google. So if you change these, if your goal is to say, I mean, you have to remember that, like, when we put out a post that says how to get your chimney ready for spring, just bad example, but let's say you don't actually
Yeah.
want to rank for that. You just let it go. Like, you don't want to rank for how to get your chimney. It's not going to benefit you. No one searches for how to get your Roseville chimney clean, something. So no, just let it go. It's just Phil. It's just
Yeah.
now. If you see something where it's like 10 tips to get your home, so maybe you want to do 10 Roseville best tips, remodeling tips, something like that. Which you could change it 1,000,000%, and if our code is still in there telling Google ignore this, Google's going to ignore it. So
Okay.
yeah. So if you want to change it at all, be sure to click over to the HTML tab and just delete the little snippet. It's real obvious. It just says something like compliments of virtual results, and there's some code around it that says something like, I don't know what it says, but you'll see it. It's obvious. And
Okay.
and so you just kill that. Okay, now it's an eligible piece of content. And the truth is, you have to edit that piece so significantly now. It didn't used to be. You used to be able to throw some properties in there, you're good. Now that might still work, actually, because if you throw a property shortcode in there, you do have, a list of property results on that same page.
Something unique, yeah.
But you have to change it so significantly that you might think of not even going that route. And what some other people do is they leave the posts in them as they are, and they look to create sort of a compilation page where you take some from one and some from another and some from another, and I don't know, make some sort of getting your house ready monster post or something like that, and so on and so forth. So what I mean to say is that's when you're looking at one piece of content and you have to say, okay, how different is the result from the beginning? When you start running the little tests on it that do the algorithms that say it's 10% different, it's really tough to get up to 50% or whatever you need to get. It's to the point where it's like, I should just write new content. So I recommend that you try to think of repurpose uses for it, something like that, and that way you can always look back at all your the last 6 months of content and create it.
So the thing is, just go ahead and publish it the way it is. Just change. I mean, add some categories and stuff like that, and let it go, let it rip.
I would. Even if it's not indexed, and you change a post to include a geographic name, which is usually
right.
That's still, honestly, that's I wouldn't hesitate to do that, because then you still don't have to worry about duplicate content. You can still share it to Facebook. You still get the benefits that you're going to get from it, and it's easy.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, I've been torturing myself over that, actually. So I'm just going to start posting the damn things every time they come in. What the heck?
What I do is I tell people, because you got to stream, offload what you can. So what I recommend is even doing it on autopilot and getting let it go on autopilot automatically and get a notification. And if you get a notification and you hate that blog post, go in and delete it and see how often you have to do that. And if that ends up with less work for you, then you're rocking. You're in great shape. You made great strides toward and then maybe even move it a step further and look into getting it auto posted to Facebook and see how many times you have to go and delete those posts because you hate them. And if you have to delete a couple posts a year, but you get a post a week published on Facebook, you're going to get some people to your site. I think you're going to see that a net positive. And if you need some help automating that to Facebook, support can be glad to help you with that too.
Fabulous. Thank you, Ryan. So yeah, publishing to Facebook is, it's just a simple post and say, hey, I just put something up on my blog and put a link to it. Is that, if I was doing it manually, is that what I do?
You could do that manually, or you could get it automatically. But if you go to Facebook and you get your URL and you simply put that URL in the Facebook, there'll be, it'll auto-populate with a photo and the blog title, and it'll say something.
The whole thing.
It'll say, it won't be, fantastic. It'll say something like, Chuck just shared a post on chimney sweeps or something like that, and
Right.
worst case
Gotcha.
scenario, bam, it's gone, and you're off to the races.
Okay. Sweet. Sweet. This has been really valuable. I really
Great.
appreciate this, Ryan.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, I'll
Thank
send
you
over
very,
this.
very much.
I'll send over this recording. It's been great talking to you. We've got a new.
Beautiful. Thank you.
What MLS are you in?
MetroList.
Metro List. Okay. And
MetroList, Greater Sacramento.
Greater Sacramento Metro List. Okay. We've got a new site coming out. I definitely would want to get you on the platform and extol the benefits to you in the future. So when I learn, I'll look up the Metro List availability and let you know accordingly.
Okay, very good.
All right, great talking to you. Have a great day.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much. Say hi to Jim.
Okay, see you later.
Bye-bye, Ryan. Bye.